Hi, hello. I have every light on and it's still dark. Like, kinda, it depends. Anyway, whatever. Whatever. I'm going to go on Ashley Morgan Smith line. I don't know why we have to call her Smith line. Ashley Morgan Smith line. I'm just saying Ashley Morgan, okay? Ashley Morgan. Again, even if I did this before, because I just finished Ashley Walters, my last two videos. I read the whole file, the lawsuit. And if I had to pick a person, I wish I didn't even have to say this. If I had to pick a person, I mean, it's just an awful situation. If I had to pick a person that I'd rather read the lawsuit from, would be Ashley Walters, and then Chloe Black, and then Esme Bianco, and Ashley Morgan will be the last one, because the lack of just, I won't say intelligent. I'm not saying that she's dumb or that she's smart. That's not what it's about. But just how redundant she is, and just even the best attorney or the best team behind you cannot save you from this type of oddness and awkwardness and the things that she said when she's been interviewed by People's magazines, that she's almost dropping the F word every 2 minutes, which is okay on YouTube to do it. It's okay on your Instagram to be like, oh, this effing guy. But when you're talking to People's magazines and when you said our allegations are all the same, is disgusting. She meant to say the F word. You know they have to edit, or they pause it right in time and they were like, oh wait. And she's like, okay. Freaking disgusting. But if you look at her face when she says that, she's saying fucking. I'm sorry. And who the hell I am to say, I'm not a teacher. I can't just tell people how to speak. She's an adult, even if she's trying to sound like a kid. She's an adult. But just the fact that she's so nonchalant about sitting there and lying through her teeth, just like all of them, but especially her. Ashley Morgan knows him for only, like me, she might just know him for years, but she was with him for only a weekend or a week, or the most 2 weekends. This is what her ex-fiance says. This is what Manson says. This is what Manson's lawyer says. This is what we can see by TMZ. Good old TMZ. God bless them. And you can actually see the lines don't match. At the same time, he was with Lindsay. He was with Chloe Black. No, it doesn't make any sense. So she, I think, is the one that lies the most. I mean, they all lied and they all have their own narrative and their own little fairy tale going on in their head. But Ashley Morgan specifically just lies and then catches herself in the lie and then try to fix it, and it's so just disturbing and embarrassing to even listen to, because I respect somebody who's smart. Like Ashley Walters, she's smart. She's smart. Her, I don't think she's a good person. I think she's awful. I think all of them are. But I have to admit that some of them are smart. I think Esme is quite smart, and I think Ashley Walters is very smart. That is, of all the ones that I read, the one that I enjoyed reading the most is actually Ashley Walters, because it's so colorful and it has so many things in so many different times, and she was his assistant for 2 years, so there's a lot of stuff that she's put in her lawsuit that might just happen. Okay, I don't think it did, but allegedly it might just happen because there's 2 years there, and she makes it so intricate and like I said, colorful, and just, if it was a movie and Ashley Walters' lawsuit was a script, that'll be a movie I would like to watch. But Ashley Morgan's script, no, I don't want to watch. Oh my God, I don't want to watch her movie. So I guess she's the most nonsensical, non-original, and just in every way, just copy and paste what everybody else says. And besides, the biggest lie, the first lie, is that she was with him, because I really don't think that she was ever with him in a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship. Hooking up, yes, I mean, who doesn't? Come on now. But I do believe that she was with him for only a week, or maybe a week and a weekend, like, maybe like 10 days or so, or maybe 2 weekends. Definitely not a month. Definitely not 6 months, and definitely not 2 years. Like she's trying to say, like they're all going with this whole like 2009 to 2013. We already know that Esme Bianco is almost dismissed. It's dismissed on the sexual battery and the sexual assault, but it's not dismissed on the human trafficking and the unpaid labor. The problem with that is the law is completely different. She's been dismissed of the sexual battery because she couldn't figure it out how to file it before her time ran out. Pretty much, even with the Phoenix Act that gives them 10 whole years, you still have to prove why you don't remember what you're saying now that you remember. You still have to prove somehow why you didn't remember it, and now you do. And this is the same reason why Chloe Black's case was dismissed, because she couldn't prove it. And it's the same with Esme Bianco. She can't prove it. So even if we have the Phoenix Act that is a pain in the butt, it's not such a like writing blood on a stone, really. I mean, it is a pain in the butt. It shouldn't even be there to begin with. But thanks to Evan and Esme and the governor of one of the senators of California, Susan Rubio, she's corrupted like a lot of people here are. We have this law. It has not passed in every state, and there is exceptions to it. So I think the judges are being very careful, and the judge that was working with this case, I just don't know the name of the judge, but the judge that dismissed the Chloe Black case, he dismissed it for that reason. Because, okay, all right, cool. Let's say we believe you that this happened. This unfortunate, and it's very sad, and it happened, and you don't remember it. And you just remember it now. Okay, how? How, why, and when? Like, when did you get the amnesia, and when did you start remembering, and how, and what happened? Like, you have to, obviously it's an oxymoron what I'm saying. Like, oh, if you don't remember, why do you forgot to remember? How can you remember when did you forgot it? When you can't. But there's things around you. There's people around you. There's doctor records. There's things around you. Their family, their friends, their coworkers. People can say, hey, she was just okay the last 9 years, or 7 years, or 10 years. She was just fine. She was working in music. She was working in movies, or whatever it is, modeling, whatever, and she was remembering everything just fine. Now, we have this whole because of trauma, people blacked out, which I know is a thing, I know is real. But again, you have to be able to prove, either with psychologists or with your psychiatrist or your neurologist or any type of physician, that when the injury happened or when the blackout happened and when did it stop happening. Does that make sense? And then you have a case. Even with the Phoenix Act on place, you still have a case. But if you just go with your shame and your guiltiness and I was into bondage, but now I'm not anymore, so now I feel dirty, so I'm just going to throw this at this guy, which I think that's what I always thought it was about. Besides the money, it's about shame and whatever they feel that is just a reflection of who they are, and they have to throw the trash at him, at anybody who will listen, because they feel like trash, because they are ashamed, because they feel guilty for all the stuff that they done with him by choice, not force. And the Phoenix Act actually has an item that it does says that emotions are not going to be taken into consideration. Emotions like guilt, shame, embarrassment, they're not going to. Memory is such weird, interesting thing that it's just like time. It's such a mystery. Nobody understands how memory works. But if you see a physician, and let's say you go for a doctor's check, let's say you go for a checkup every year, which you should, and they check your blood pressure, if you're prone to diabetes, they do a bunch of tests on you. If you're a woman, they do the women test and stuff, you know what I mean? Let's say you do that once a year, okay? It would just pop between 2011 and now. Something going on with her. Somebody has to have a record of her not remembering things. A record of her having migraines, headaches, some type of injury, sleep disturbances, anxiety. There's a lot of things that can actually produce amnesia, but she has not proved that she had none of those things for about 10 years. And if you have seizures, for example, or a sleep paralysis or something like that that can make you black out for 10 years, your doctor will know, your friends will know, your coworkers will know. So you just can't pop up out of nowhere, and because you are ashamed, because you let the guy tie you up, and now you're not into happens to the best of us, and now you're not into anymore, and now you're ashamed. So you're just gonna deflect. That's what they're doing. That's exactly what they're doing. And even if it wasn't for the cash and the damages that they're asking for, I'll still believe that this is a matter of guilt and shame and just revenge and jealousy. That's what I really believe that it's about. I know people say it's about money. It is about money, but there's something beneath. I mean, Evan Richard Wood never made any money out of him. She's not suing him. And so why she does it? Why she sits on her Instagram every other night and posts memes after meme after meme about exes and about narcissism and about abuse and about molestation and about single parenting. And why? She's not getting money out of the whole out of it. Why? Because she's addicted to the attention. She's addicted to the victimhood. You know, like people get addicted to being angry. Anger is a drug. Well, anger is a drug. Attention is also a drug, and you kind of like just. I think I explained this before in one of my first videos. And ladies out there are gonna know what I'm talking about. You know when you're pregnant, if you ever had kids, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. You're pregnant, and you're like, oh, like what? Girl, you just got pregnant, just like the half of the rest of the world, okay? But for some reason, people give you this attention, okay? And they treat you like you're some type of goddess, like you're different. You're not better than anybody else just because you're pregnant. You get this attention and you get into it. You know what I mean? And it's the same when you go to college and you get the attention because you graduate and you just feel like a freaking superhero, which in fact what you did is what you're supposed to be freaking doing. You know, if let's say your parents pay for your education, or you pay for it, or the government pay for it, you're supposed to study, or you graduate. Ooh, well, what? Like, okay. So people get addicted to that type of attention. When somebody gets married, it's this whole neurosis of the wedding and the wedding cake and the dress and all that. It's all attention, all of it. And these things are not done for money. You know, when I was pregnant, nobody threw cash at me. When I graduated from college, nobody threw cash at me. I wish. No, but it's just that attention. And if you're the type of person who's like chill and you're not an egomaniac, and you're like, all right, cool, that's awesome, thank you for the gifts, you guys, and you can go home, you know, your baby shower, you know, kind of like I didn't want none of that. I hate that. I don't like none of that. But let's say you like it a little bit. It wears off eventually when you're getting attention because you're pregnant, because you're in your job, because you're in your career, because you just got a new movie deal. That type of attention is good in the moment, it wears off, and then at the end of the day, you're alone and it means nothing. And I think Evan knows exactly what I'm talking about. She knows that at the end of the day, she's alone. And that attention that she got from being the Manson victim, at the end of the day, means nothing. She can't cuddle that thing at night. She can't. At the end of the day, she's the person who was replaced. She can't handle that. Not even from Manson, but she also cannot handle it from Jamie, his ex-husband. Her ex-husband, boyfriend, no, husband. She just can't. And you can say, oh, well, she's an actress. I know actresses that are not egomaniacs and bad people. Not all actors are like that. Not everybody in town is bad. I don't like when people make generalizations like that. Oh, well, she's an actress, she's full of it. There's some actresses there, and actors, male and female actors, like Johnny Depp, for example. Just because he's an actor, it don't mean that he's a liar. So Yes, I went into tangent of talking about Evan again because I always go back to her because she is the root of this whole thing, and she's not even asking for money. So that's more to my point of the addiction of just being a victim, at the attention, Like I hate it. When I was pregnant, don't touch me. Don't, who are you? Don't touch me. But people touch you. For some damn reason. They think they can go like, ooh, and they touch your belly. I'm like, you're touching my body. Why are you touching my body? I don't know. I got an argument before about that. Like, she's such a bitch. I'm like, no, I'm not such a bitch. I'm freaking pregnant and you're touching me. You shouldn't. But there's this things about people touching your belly when you're pregnant. There's this things about people hugging you and giving you a bunch of hugs. Like when you just got married or when you just finished college. You're just doing what you're supposed to be doing. So I'm not gonna get a freaking tiara, a gold bonnet, and a gold award for being a mom and for finishing college, or for making a good cup of coffee, or for being a good I don't know, for doing the laundry good, or for being a good girlfriend, or for being a good wife. I don't get an award. Then why all these people? Why do they want attention? I know somebody's gonna say no, they want money. The money is just a thing that is there, but most of these ladies have money. Okay, so I know money is a big, especially when, oh my God, you're against somebody like Manson. He has, I will not say billions, but millions and millions and millions and millions. Now that he's married, he may have less on his own name, but so it is about, it's like you're after the money, but you are after something else that I can't really put my finger on it. But you get it. You get my drift, what I was trying to say. You're just addicted. This whole group of women sitting around talking about their experiences and just feeding on each other's pain is what I'm trying to say. That's what I think. That's what it's about. Mostly. And jealousy. And revenge. And shame. Guilt. A lot of guilt. And thankfully, the Phoenix Act is not going to cover that. They're not going to be able to get away with it because the Phoenix Act. Because even in that law, there's items that actually specify that you're gonna have to prove why, and when to when. It's not a face value. Otherwise, the Chloe Black case wouldn't be dismissed, and it was dismissed because, like I've been saying this whole time, it's not a face value. So don't freak out with the Phoenix Act and come and tell me that it's all bad. Even if it was, it's not a lost cause. It doesn't mean that every guy or woman, but it's usually, I think it's going to be used against men more than anything. It's going to, oh man, yeah, it's going to go to jail because of Phoenix Act. Not necessarily, okay? If you make a mistake and you are so dumb and you lie on your lies and your lies and your lies, you cut yourself like this, like Ashley Morgan, lying and lying and lying, and anybody that knows you, from your ex-fiancé to your family to your co-workers, can actually go like, no, wait, no, you were 2010, we were together in 2000, no, we were together in 2012, 2010, we had Thanksgiving together back in Calabasas or whatever. How are you gonna explain that, Ashley? So her lack of fine tuning and her lack of just not paying attention. She did not pay attention to what the other women were saying. She didn't really pay attention to Manson. They kind of tried to, like, she didn't draft it well. That's what I'm trying to say. So I am gonna play her interview. I know it's painful, but why not? And then I'm gonna read her lawsuit. But in the middle of that, I'm also going to play the interview that she did for The View, which, oh my God, right? Like, so trusted news, Guppy Goldberg, because Guppy Goldberg is such a reporter. And that was super annoying because she was there with her lawyer acting like this stuff was real instead of just allegations. They went from allegations to accusations. And that's not, no, wait, no. Just like they go from incidents to assault. They jump that hoop so fast. And you get people going like, I'm so sorry you've been through that, Ashley. You cannot say that. You can't talk like that. In private, you can think the guy is an asshole. You can think he's a freak. you keep that to yourself. When you're a reporter, supposedly, or a person who works on a TV show interviewing people, you can't say, I'm sorry you've been through that, if you're not sure that that person been through it. And that was like their mistake. ABC, whatever, kiss my butt. They were awful. And I hope that those people get some type of a, I don't think they can get perjury because they are press. And anybody can say, hey, we made a mistake. Yeah, we made a mistake. We didn't just search it good enough. I'm sorry, we made a mistake. So I don't think that he can sue them for perjury, but definitely they're gonna have to just print some type of statement. From Rolling Stones to Washington Post to LA Times to New York Times to Metal Wire, Metal Injection, Rolling Stones, People, man, there's so many. They're gonna have to like issue some type of statement in favor of him. Paying money, I don't think so, because press, and in America is something called free speech. So pretty much I can just sit here and make a whole thing about something that it is not true, and just sit here and tell you that it is, and you cannot make me pay for it later. Like, even if I tell you, oh, I was lying the whole time, oops, sorry, it's not perjury, it's just press. So although I think there's something, I don't know that because I'm not a journalist, obviously, but maybe somebody can help me out. There's something that it can be done. It's not perjury, but something that it can be done when people don't do their research. When the people from The Sun, for example, in the UK, what they did to Johnny, that freaking awful. Something has to be done. But perjury, Manson, good luck if he's trying to do that. He's not going to. It's gonna be impossible because there's so many people. There's so many publications, like all of them, the ones that I mentioned, and some more, like everywhere, from People, Rolling Stones, the Billboard, Hollywood Reporter, well, TMZ, obviously, LA Times, New York Times, Washington Post. I mean, all of them, seriously. If he's going to sue all of them, it will be ridiculous. But I do think it would be really kind of sweet and cool is that they issue an apology. I'll throw a party. I'll throw a party if I hear Guppy Goldberg from The View going like, Mr. Warner, I am so sorry. I was wrong about you. That would be amazing. They should, though. But perjury, I mean, money, I don't think so. I don't think that's going to work. For the person, you can. I mean, he can charge, he can go after both Ashley's and Esme and all of them, and get them for perjury, and just try to get them to pay for it, to pay money, even if he doesn't need their money, but it's just out of principle. He can do that because they're just civilians. But when it comes to just like suing a whole, look what's happening to Johnny Depp trying to sue a publication. It's really not that. It's not that easy, and I don't think it's worth it. I think it would be more worth it for them to go and say, I'm so sorry, Mr. Brian Warner. We were wrong about you. That would be priceless. That's better than any money, if you ask me. Like, seriously. My hair is making me because that's what I keep doing, that I can't stand it today. It's very humid, so it got weird. Anyway, whatever. I'm so stupid and silly. Okay, it's just, it kind of rubs in every time, and I just look at her, I'm like, I get blank face. Okay, I will disclaim it over and over again. I know this stuff happens to people all the time. This is happening to a woman right now as we speak. So, disclaimer, I do believe victims. I don't believe them. Okay? Before you just come for me and tell me that I am a chauvinistic pig and I am for men, and I do believe women. I know it happens, and I know it happens more than men. Sorry, those are numbers. It happens more. That doesn't mean that I'm gonna have to believe every female that it comes out, especially from the entertainment world, and they come out with some type of story. It doesn't mean that I'm gonna believe them. But I do usually, most of the time, I believe at least 80% of the people that I meet. I do. Just with them, I don't. Because I know it. I know the BS. And it's not because I like Manson as an artist. I like him as a person. I think he's awesome. I think he's smart. I think he's cool. It's not about that. It's really not just me, but a lot of us on YouTube, on Instagram, why not? We can smell it, and we've been on it. I've been on it since for the last 6 months, and it doesn't matter how many people watch it. Really, it doesn't matter. What matters is that we're talking about it, and it's cool that when somebody actually does something to somebody and they are actually victims, we're going to know the difference. It's going to be like on the history books. Marilyn Manson, the example of somebody who is being used as a space goat for the last 25 years. So chances are, after all this is done, let's say in 5 years, somebody goes against him again on something, I might still not believe that person, because this is old. This has been going on since 96, and then it happened really bad in 99 with Columbine, but it's been happening since 95, 96. It's a witch hunt. It's a very obvious witch hunt. It's not even an original way to do it. The narrative is so sick. And now because we have the internet, it's so much easier to witch hunt people. Before, to cancel somebody, like 20 years ago, you have to go on the street, protest and have signs and just go into people's blogs or something. 15 years ago, we have blogs, right? Now it's so damn easy. You just post something on your Twitter, post something on your Instagram, and you just cancel a whole group of people if you really want to. It's evil, and I'm not saying it's not, but also I have to admit that it happens, and I'm seeing it. I've seen people that do it. I've seen non-famous people that do it, but I also see a lot of real victims all the time. So I know. So I'm not siding with men. Okay, I'm saying in this case, I will side. I need to take his side, because this is just a bunch of rubbish. Okay, so I'm just going to, after I talk about for 27 minutes, to drink my tea and just let's listen to this nonsense again.
And coercion. And now she's telling her full story.
My Bluetooth.
I have bonded or
Sorry.
this, and we have found such a strength in numbers, and our stories are all identical. It's disgusting. At least if you're gonna be an abusive psychopath, be original, and he wasn't in any way.
In 2010, Marilyn Manson was a 41-year-old heavy metal icon, as well known for his music as his extreme, often controversial persona, while Ashley was a 26-year-old mom.
Do I have to say anything about that whole thing? If you're going to be a psychopath, at least be original. Alright, I'm not even good. This is what I'm saying. Her filing is the most ridiculous of all of them. You could even, I don't know who her lawyer is, but
Model working in Thailand.
I grew up out here in LA in Calabasas. My parents are both in the industry, so I started modeling pretty young. I always wanted to act. That was my intention and my goal, but modeling monetarily came first.
Ashley had frequently worked with LA-based artist and photographer Tyler Shields, who also happened to be a friend
that's
of
BS.
Manson.
She didn't work with Tyler Shields.
Photographer Tyler Shields
But whatever.
had, shown him photos, and so he contacted me on the phone and said who he was, and I wasn't into that type of music. I knew who he was. I knew his public persona, but
she makes sure that she makes that really clear. She wasn't into a type of music, and she really didn't know who she was. Later on this video, she said, I was just a kid. So it's more of this naive, innocent. I didn't know who Manson was, and I was just a kid, and I wasn't into that. It's just over and over, so you have this notion of her being Alice in Wonderland or something like that, or just little Red Hood on the about to open the door on the big bad wolf, because the way she describes it, who the fuck doesn't know who Manson is? I mean, she's American. and people, they're not from America, people all over the world knows who he is. She said she knew the name, but she really didn't know what he was about. So she's trying to sound really young there. That's what she's trying to do, and really innocent. And it's ridiculous when you come from Thailand to you're like modeling lingerie and topless pictures. Like seriously, just going on this whole like innocent thing. It's just a waste of time. I can't believe that her statements are so ridiculous. Anyway, I should be used to it by now, but every time I listen to this, it catch me the how out of reality. Like, just who is your lawyer and your team? I feel like maybe they gave her guidance, and maybe they were trying with her, but because she is what she is, and I'm not gonna say here analyze her psyche. She could have the best lawyer, but she's gonna say whatever she's gonna say. She's trying me like one of those people, one of those women, like, you know, like she's sassy. She's gonna say whatever she's gonna say. Like Ashley Walters, for example, Esme Bianco, for example, way smarter than Morgan, way smarter. And yes, they might not have a lot of personality, but they at least they listen to their team, and they listen and they learn the lies, and they're good at telling the lie. Esme Bianco is really good. I don't believe her, but people usually do. But Ashley Morgan is just so bad at it. The way she rolls her the words, and how does she answer the sentences, and how does she rolls her eyes on the video, like, oh, at least be original if you're gonna be a psychopath. Oh, that just shows you, just it screams of lies, like serious, just BS. Who can make such a mistake? You know that you've been interviewed by this gigantic corporation, because that's what it is. They are the ones, after all, they have Amber Heard with that fake bruise, remember? Undercover their magazine. So these people have they don't have my respect at all. I'm not gonna pay for any of their stuff. I'm gonna get everything online and download it free. Not paying. I used to have People's Magazine come into my, like, in the mail maybe like 10 years ago, when you were able to do that. And it was fun to just like get that in the mail and read it and read about the celebrities. But now that I'm just seeing how shit is, like, I'm not, not paying for your BS ever again. But you will think that she would have, making herself some tea, some chamomile tea, take her medication, I don't know, do some yoga, something before she sat down to talk to these people, so she doesn't come across as such a bimbo. Because really, the way she says things, like the psychopath thing, and then the not knowing who Manson was. I mean, come on. Anyway, I keep going. I apologize. I'm sorry.
Didn't, mean anything to me until he said, like, and I know you're really interested in acting, and I want you to be in a film, and I want you to be in a music video. And I was like, thank God, like, I can go do this. And he mentioned, like, knowing a lot of people in film, and I thought I could finally get out of modeling. We would email, we would talk on Facebook, we would talk on the phone. We were in contact a lot. So, like, we got to know each other pretty well. All we talked about was our favorite movies and our favorite books, and they were all the same. And we knew the same lines from the same movies, and he was so intelligent. And, like, physically I wasn't very taken at first, but he...
That's what she's doing that. She's doing that exactly to make you feel, not us, we're not falling for that bullshit. But she's doing that so the next part of her story just hits the audience even more, and you're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, Ashley. You thought this guy was so safe, you thought he was so charming, and then poof, then it's gonna have, most people will be really interested in listening to that lie. I'm not, but most people will fall for it. The way she talks about him, and she over exaggerates it, because it's not like she knows him so much, people have said that they met each other for only like a couple months. So I don't know. I don't know. But let's give it the benefit of the doubt. Maybe she knows him for longer and they hook up for only like a week, but they know each other for longer. It's just still, just she's overdoing it, going like, well, we knew the same movies and we talk about the same books and the movies, and he was so charming, and it's all the trick. It's a complete trick, because when she tells you the bad news that he abused her, then you get hit by that even more and you sympathize with her. It's such a trick, and I'm seeing it so many times by non-famous people. Then it is such an obvious trick. Okay, I keep going.
Really lured me in with just this like endless intelligence, and it felt very safe, it felt very secure.
That November, after 2 or 3 months of communicating long distance, Ashley flew to Los Angeles and checked into a hotel on Hollywood Boulevard.
The reason I came out in the first place wasn't we were in love. And
her family is here in California, so she's making it sound kind of like an Esme type of thing, that she came here.
But he flew
her
me
family's
out,
from
he
here,
to
so
Roosevelt. He brought his bottle of absinthe
okay.
and had like cocaine with him, and he came with his assistant, which made it more comfortable.
That's Ashley
He
Walters
came with a girl
she's
that was a
referring
couple years
to.
older than me, and we all hung out and had some drinks, and then he's like, can I kiss you? And he was still being so romantic and so kind and normal. I went to his house the next day.
It's like all for the shock. You get it. You get my point. For the shock.
Odd. It was a hollowed out ballet studio. Billy Zane, the actor from Titanic, had lived there before him. So he had a mural of Billy Zane on the wall. So as a ballet studio, there were big like open rooms. The bedroom was right when you walk in. To the right, everything was black, of course, and to the left there was a glass sound booth. In the back there was the studio. There was weird furniture.
Esme said it was to the right
like
of the bed. Just saying.
Like
she says
mounds
to
of
the left.
cocaine in every single room.
Mountains of cocaine.
Known that was how it was, and his absinthe was, I guess, in boxes.
In boxes.
It was odd. Like, he was odd. I knew he was odd. Like, he looks odd. I didn't think I was going to, like, leave it to Beaverland. I knew that he definitely, like, was darker than I was.
So she knew, okay. So first she said she didn't know. She told her friend, yeah, I know this guy's name, but I'm not into that music. I don't know what he's about. And now she's saying, I knew he was dark. I knew that he was trouble. I knew that he was conflicted. This is what she's saying now. So she's already like lying to herself in the first 6 minutes. It's just
express any of that to me. Like, again, I didn't listen to that kind of music, but slowly, these things were slow. Like, the first couple nights we hung out, I was allowed to sleep and he slept, and then it was little things that, like, we were shooting and all of the windows were blacked out, so he would lie to me about what time it was and tell me, oh, it's only midnight, and it was, maybe 6 in the morning, and it was late
come
outside.
on. All right, I live here. I give you a little bit of, everybody knows that. Blue skies is sunny every single day. I pray for rain and for fog and clouds not every single day, but like every week or so, because we never get that. So there is some type of light coming from outside. If you live in Seattle, if you live in Portland, let's say, even on the East Coast, okay, you can have blackout curtains, and if it's cloudy outside, you don't know what the fuck is going on. You don't know what day it is. You're high. You don't know what time of the day it is because you're drunk. Here, I mean, literally, I have to put, sometimes, like, not anymore, I don't have to do that anymore, but when I was younger, I had to put a blanket. I had an apartment that had this purple blanket there was a blanket, but I never used it for a blanket because it's never cold enough for blankets. But I had my blanket on the window, and I did that for about 5 or 6 years. I never used a blanket as a blanket. I used it as a curtain because it's so bright and it's so sunny. So for her to say that she did not know if it was daylight or nighttime, it's really strange, because the blackout, even if you have blackout curtains, which is probably what he had, and it's not a crime, they sell them at Walmart. It's called blackout curtains, and they do a good job blacking the light and the heat, so you have like your place kind of keeps dark and cool. You still need the AC and fans and everything, but even with a big blackout curtain, the sun is nasty here. Like it's brighter than anywhere else. Seriously. So for her to not see the sun and not know the difference between day and then you will think there's no computers in the house. Like there's no, the Manson didn't have an iPad, a laptop computer somewhere, and you can see the time on the computer. So she we know that he has some type of big television system, right? Because Chloe Black was saying how he was showing her this horrible movie, which ended up not being a horror movie, but the movie Groupie, the short film Groupie, over the TV over and over. So if he had that, then he has some type of system. And when you have some type of system, electronic system, usually it shows you the time. So it's really hard for me to believe that as being so bright as it is in LA, and also having electronics around you. You have the microwave tells you the time. Your coffee machine tells you the time. So no, don't believe it.
And it's just the lies got more and more. The like what I've read about getting someone into a cult is you deprive them of food, you deprive them of sleep, and you deprive them of talking to anyone. So like all those things were true. Like,
she's an expert in cults now.
1 a.m, he would start playing really loud music and wake me up, and then I had to go do a line of
I believe that.
And keep partying with him and entertain him. And more than that, give him attention and reaffirm how great his music sounded, how wonderful he was. And he was, even when he was abusive, sometimes he would be joking and funny.
Okay,
and then sometimes
she's doing it again. She's going to the sympathy again. She already told you that the guy's an asshole. She says he's an asshole, right? But now she's going back on this. Somebody told her to talk like this. Somebody had to say something to her. She's going back on the same thing. Like, well, even when he was me, he was still so funny. He was still so charming, because by the time that she talks about him cutting her with a knife or drinking her blood, then you're very, oh my God, because you feel empathy or sympathy for her, supposedly. This is why she's doing this. It's a trick. It's a very old trick, but it works. It works a lot in court. For example, you see a person going, let's say it's a divorce, and it's this kind of like nasty divorce, not a simple case, and this happens a lot. People use this. It's very, it's not even it's a trick. It's a dirty trick, but they use it a lot. And the person is going to end up is gonna start talking about the other person as how great they were when they met, and oh my God, he made me feel so safe, and he got me this, he got me that, and I met his mom, and his family took me in as I was a. Okay, so by the time that you say something bad about the guy, he cheated, or he wanted to steal my money, or he got the kids against me, whatever. Let's say it's a simple divorce, not a Manson case. Then the judge, if the judge is good, they don't fall for this. But some judges and some lawyers go like, oh, because you were like kissing the butt and just doing the whole sympathy thing. And it's a shock. It's for shock value. And it's the oldest of the tricks. And I don't know who taught her to do that. But somebody probably did. Because I don't think that's just how she is. I think if it was just up to her, she would just sit there and go like, F this guy, F this. But I think the she's trying to sound like a little cute, little delicate wildflower on purpose for the shock, for when it's gonna come, it's gonna be bad. Like drinking the blood and doing all that stuff allegedly. So it's a trick. And I can't believe that people fall for this, because this is just the most, this is the oldest trick in the book. Sympathy, and then shock, sympathy.
He would be the most terrifying monster in the world. Like, he would say things like, do you know I could kill you right now?
According to Ashley, the verbal and psychological abuse soon turned physical.
The first time that I didn't know that you could rape someone that you were in a relationship with. And there's a difference between waking up to someone having sex with you nicely in the morning and waking up tied up with someone having sex with your unconscious body. Like being tied up and screaming and not enjoying it, and him like laughing like sadistically.
And do you see where she says things like with a question mark at the end, like, and sleeping, and him laughing, and it's just a question mark. But then she doesn't even, because she's not sure, because somebody actually scripted this for her. This is not the real Ashley Morgan. I don't know her in person. No people out there know her, and she is probably way less delicate than this. This is not her. This is somebody's telling her what. I mean, it is her, because obviously it's BS, but it's sprinkled with a little bit of sweetness, so you feel bad for her. If it was just Ashley being Ashley, I bet you money there should be like, well, and then this asshole did this, and then there's this, but somebody told her to kind of, even the way she looks in this interview, oh my God, she doesn't look like that on her Instagram pictures, and she doesn't look like that in any other type of photo shoots that you've seen of her anywhere. But on this interview, she has that big hat that looks like Stevie Nicks from the 80s or something. This jacket with like shoulder pads, and her color, I mean, not her skin color, I meant to say, the colors that she wears, the color theme is like beige and little creamy and little khaki colors, and God, and it's just so screaming plain Jane, wildflower, I'm weak. This is what she's trying to do, seriously. And you can see her natural, original sassiness that I think Ashley has goes through sometimes, when she says at least be freaking original. That, I think that's who she is. And then she goes back to this character of this poor little thing. I guess you cannot RAP somebody that you love, and she just is acting. I mean, it's bad acting, but it's acting. And if she was just being herself, I probably would not be making this video right now. But she's not being herself.
Or like, gagging my mouth or something.
Gagging my mouth or something? Question mark. Something.
And then we didn't really speak of it. I wasn't allowed to speak of it. I never stood up to him ever, because I knew that would be more abuse, more torture.
More torture? Question mark.
And I didn't want it. There was a time where there was, like, during a rape, there was a struggle, and my nose broke, and I flew back overseas. Like, I flew through Narita, the airport in Japan.
In Japan,
It's not comfortable to fly 17 hours with a broken nose.
No, I bet. I bet. She said, well, it's not comfortable to fly 17 hours with a broken nose. Yeah. I don't think that she even had a bloody nose. Besides, a bloody nose can be caused by a lot of things. If she had a bloody nose and she really want to frame him right there, right now, then, at that moment, she could have easily done that. But she's not that smart.
Bridal shoot the next day, and I had bruises on my eyes. I looked terrible. And they said what happened, and I said I fell down. You know, like what any battered, abused woman said.
Battered,
You start
abused.
telling lies, and then I just got, like I said, I was a light, happy, generous, caring, outgoing-ish person, and then I was this secretive, scared little girl.
To catch
4
her.
out of 5 women with sensitive skin would
She
recommend.
was. I know. She was a scared little girl. Yeah. I don't have to add anything to that, right? Because she's trying to make you think that she was just a kid. That's why she didn't know who he was, because people her age don't listen to Manson. That's for old people, you know what I mean? Like, she was like, it's just a trick, oh my God. And in a way, I wish that she was actually being herself, because I think herself is probably more fun than this watery version of this delicate flower. Anyway, keep going on this. My gosh. Poor little girl, she said.
There was always people there at the house. His band, the assistant, friends, people with lights, because we were shooting all the time our movie or the music video or whatever.
Oh, you were?
Yes. As people started to trickle out, I was always like looking to his assistant, who's a friend of mine still, Ashley. And we would look at each other like, it's gonna get bad, you know, like as soon as everyone starts leaving, he turns off the charm and the monster would come out.
Oh my God. Anyway, turns off the charm, because the charm was on, I guess, for the other people, and the monster will come out. And then she mentions, just right there, she mentioned Ashley Walters. What I'm saying about Ashley Walters, I said it before. If Ashley Walters, okay, let's pretend this happened for a moment. If Ashley Walters was there when this woman was getting abused, and when Esme Bianco was getting abused, what does it make you, Ashley Walters? It makes you even, it makes you an accomplice, it makes you a witness, it makes you even worse than he is. Like if this happened, but it didn't. But I'm saying, why they keep mentioning Ashley Walters? Esme Bianco did the same thing. Esme Bianco mentioned Ashley Walters on her filing. She's mentioning also Ashley Walters on her filing. And it's just, you guys, do you really want to do that? Do you think that's a good, smart move? Because I don't think so. Because you're just like throwing your own girlfriend under the bus, like pretty much. And if Manson is guilty, then Ashley Walters is guilty because she was literally sitting there while these women were being abused. And she didn't do nothing about it because the connections and the job and the connections. I'm not. Seriously, that's what it doesn't make sense. It doesn't really make any sense.
Physical and sexual abuse began soon after Ashley and Manson first met in 2010. While Manson claims his intimate relationships have always been entirely consensual, according to Ashley, the rapes became too frequent to count.
Countless. I mean, it was from 2010 to 2012. I can't. I mean, between 20 and 300. I don't know. It just got more and more violent as time went on.
300.
He would cut like my ribs, he didn't hit my face. Like he I was a model, it was his job. He didn't hit my face. He definitely cut.
She just said 5 minutes before this that he broke her nose and she had to fly to Thailand for 17 hours with a broken nose. Allegedly, he broke the nose. She just said, he never hit my face. This is like her lying to herself and stepping on her own lies in only a 14-minute interview. Can you imagine her in court? Can you imagine her on the stand, like under oath? She just said, hit me, broke my nose, I went to work, have to go to the airport on the plane with a broken nose because he hit me. Okay, blah, blah, blah. And now she says, he never hit my face. I feel like anybody that sees this, I mean, if they play this in court, This is not gonna get to court. I mean, she's not gonna get to court. She's not going to. But like, even if they try to, it's just right there. She's trying to make him sound like those type of abusers. And I'm talking only about men right now. Don't get mad, but this does happen. I know for a fact that this is a thing. Well, you're so pretty. I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm not gonna mess with your face because you have a pretty face. So I'm just gonna break your ribs, or punch you in the back, or just do something to your arms or to your legs because you have a pretty face. This is something that is done. It's very sad. It's done a lot. And also because you don't want the person to just obviously just go walk around with a black eye or something. Somebody goes, well, if this guy does this to you, oh no, well, then it's a big deal. But besides that, even if you're living in a certain island and nobody can ask you, your girlfriend's beating you, whatever, there's this thing the men do, and I'm gonna say a man, I'm sorry, but this is a thing. Trust me, because I know about this, because I'm seen it and I lived through it. They do this. You're so pretty. I'm not gonna mess with your face. And that's what she's trying to do. She's trying to make him sound like that. Like, okay, well, he hurt me everywhere, but he never hit my face. Well, he gave you a broken nose, I thought. In one interview, she just did this and she cross-examined herself and she failed. Like, seriously, I don't know how this girl will do in court. It will be, I know that the other ones can stand court. I don't think she can. I don't think she can. She doesn't even know who she is. It's just crazy.
My inside of my thighs, my inside of my elbows.
Okay, this is the cutting
outer
thing.
thighs have his initials carved into them.
Okay, this is the cutting
Into
thing.
them. He cut my lower stomach, and he made it very clear that I was replaceable, that I was vulnerable, that I was extinguishable, that he could kill me at any moment, and he would remind me when I was tied up or when I was whatever, that I could kill you at any time. At one point I brought up, like, do you want me to kill myself? Like, do you want me to just kill myself? So he decided it was a good idea to show me clips of different suicide scenes from movies. And I've asked the other girls that I've spoken to that are victims of him, like, what do you think his objective was? And we all agree that we think that he honestly wanted us all to kill ourselves. And that's a serial killer, no?
According to Ashley, Manson
This is a serial killer, no? It's a serial killer, no? No, it's not a serial killer, Ashley. Because somebody wants you to commit suicide, that is not a serial killer. That has a different name altogether. It's a different diagnosis. To be a serial, you have to murder more than 3 people, and you have to have a pattern. You actually have to murder them. And he didn't kill anybody. No, we don't know of, right? So, not a serial killer. The fact that she's trying to say that, well, I asked the other girls, and we kind of got to the conclusion that he wants all of us to kill ourselves. So that's a serial killer, no? Again, like, she's asking questions, something so big, you will think that she has it already in her head, prepare, and she's going to deliver those lines in a better way. But no, instead she goes, "This is a serial killer, no?" It's just, I'm not an analysis of body language or linguistics or anything. I'm not. But this is just ridiculous. Anybody who can see it, a kid can figure this out. When you're going like, well, he was just doing this with his fist, ? And serial killer, no? And blah, 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 no? And when I was tied up, and she does that. She's asking questions to the person who's listening. It's just, I've never seen anything like this before. And hopefully never will after this circus is over. Serial killer is not. That is not a serial killer. You can say psychopath. You can say he's an asshole. You can say that he was just freaky and kinky. Serial killer, because you all want to kill yourselves, or because you all want to hurt yourselves, and then I shouldn't say kill. End your life and hurt yourself, then it's his fault. No. And just the fact that the way she says that and then goes, no, is so telling, like right there. But you see what she did. You see the trick, right? For like the first 12 minutes, she did this whole like, oh, he has such a good sense of humor. He was so charming, and I feel very safe. And she did all that, so then she can do this now. That she can say the words serial killer, because anybody out there, any muggle, any normal person out there, they're gonna hear those two words, serial killer, and be like, oh, I don't. But no. But she thinks that's gonna be effective. People's magazines think that's gonna be effective because they are a bunch of sheep, muggles, peasants. These are the people that gave Amber Heard the cover of the magazine. This is the people that gave Ashley Morgan the cover, and it says I survived a monster, and it had a horrible picture of him. They always pick the words, they always pick the pictures of what Manson was, like chubby and his makeup is all over the place. Like they never pick the ones that he looks hot or cool or cute or whatever you want to call it. They pick the worst pictures of the guy, and then it says I survived a monster. Because you're giving her a cover. It's not just a story in the magazine, it's a cover story. And then an interview that is on YouTube and is everywhere that you want to watch. And so much importance and so much attention to a person that is not even giving you information. She's not even doing a good job as a victim. Like I said, Ashley Walters, at least she has a brain. Her narrative and Esme Bianco's narrative is a little bit better. Ashley Morgan, oh my god, dude.
Manson would also lock her inside a small soundproof room for extended periods of time.
Oh, the room.
So I thought like it's like it was bigger than a phone booth. You could like stretch out. It wasn't like cramped or anything, but you were definitely.
It was definitely. What if she makes it sound like? What if it was a phone booth? It would be better. Like she's so out of control. I'm gonna have to pause this video because it's been an hour, and I know that my computer is running like overheating, and I'll do the second part when I'm going to finish that mess and play her interview with Whoopi Goldberg at The View with her lawyers there, and she compares Manson to Jeffrey Dahmer. And I'm gonna play that on my second video, and I'm going to read the lawsuit, and it's painful because, like I said, she's not even trying. Whoever's coaching her, I mean, they did a little bit of a good job on the beginning, where she talks about how charming he was and how amazing he was, how she felt so safe. So that was a good job. They did a good job coaching her on that. But then she just showed her Ashliness. And she went, serial killer, no. Oh, psychopath. An unoriginal psychopath, no. Like, that is just like, no, man. She just went. Anyway, laughing because she makes me laugh, but it's not a laughing matter. I'm not laughing at everybody else and anybody else that is on that situation right now. I did not want to talk about the cutting, and I'm not going to talk about the cutting for reasons. But I am going to jump on the other video in the next video, and I'm going to read the lawsuit where I'm Ashley Morgan right now. If you want to know about Ashley Walters, watch my video about that I did a couple days ago. And don't worry, we'll go back to Evan after I'm done with this one, because Evan is still probably the most interesting. Like, she's a different level. She's in a different level completely. And at least I kind of want to be challenged. I like being challenged. Like, if I'm going to read about somebody, at least I want to be challenged. With Ashley Morgan, it's like you're not even feeling like it's a challenge to talk about her. It's just so bleak. It's just redundant. And I mean, good job on the coaching a little bit, but then the minute she starts sounding like herself, I mean, I don't know her personally, but I am sure that's the way she sounds and every day, like rolling the eyes and that type of sassiness. Then she just looks like an idiot. When she does that, and when she says that, at least be original. That is so dumb. My God. Unless if you're gonna do that, you have to keep that up. But then she goes to the little weak wallflower little girl, and then she goes back to the sassy, and it doesn't make any damn sense. I can say it over and over and again, and it doesn't make sense. And the last thing I want to say that I just did not say in my last video on Ashley Morgan, that I don't know how I missed it, is that she said that he broke her nose, allegedly, and she flew for 17 hours. That has to be horrible if it happened. It happens to people all the time. 17 hours on a plane, airport, bleeding. Blood is something that people do not want around them because diseases, and some people faint when they see blood. And you're going to tell me that she was going around with blood and nobody said anything, nobody stopped her, nobody told her, hey, go to hospital. You're not going to fly on this condition. You need to go to hospital. Okay, whatever. So she was going around with the blood, bleeding all over the place for 17 hours. And then she goes in the same interview and goes, well, but he never really hit my face. Like, he was careful because I'm a model. So he never hit my face, but he hit me everywhere else. It's either one or the other. It probably will be more believable if she's kept the idea of, well, he knows I'm a model and I'm pretty, and he never wanted to hurt my face because it would be too obvious, so he hurt my body. That would be more believable. That she didn't have to add the broken nose and Thailand deal. That was that was not a great idea, Ashley. I come back for the second part and try to have fun with this, and I'm not going to talk about the cutting, and I'm not talking about the blood drinking. Not doing that. If you want to know why, you can just send me a message. Bye, and thank you for watching and for your patience. I'll be back. Just have to do this in parts so it's not too long, and also because my computer is overheating because it's hot. Trust me, no matter how many things you put on your window, you will see the light coming through somehow. And that's another thing about her that cracks me crazy, about all these women saying they didn't know what time it was. There's a house, he's a musician, he's gonna have equipment has a clock in it. And I'm not talking about a microwave, a toaster, a coffee machine, a computer, an iPad, an iPhone. The thing he was playing, he was using a DVD or something, a player to play the movie Groupie. That has a time. She knew what time it was. I mean, maybe not exactly, but she knew if it was day and night. They knew. I don't buy it for a second this whole, like, you can black a window so much to the point that there's no sunbeams going in at all in a place that is always sunny. No, that is such a that I don't know who told them to say that. Like, that's obviously somebody who doesn't live in LA. Seriously. Anyway, thank you. I'll be right back. I'll be back in a second. Don't lie. It's not a cute. It's not a good look.